Greetings, friends, and welcome to Enigma Night Gaming. My name is Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventure. Today, we're playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and in our last episode, we were trying to get Gina to let us defend her. We have so many things we want to investigate with this murder that's happened, but the police won't let us there unless we are her official representation. So we finally managed to convince her to sign that little piece of paper, and today we're going to investigate. Are we going to uncover any more of McGilded's secrets when we do? I don't know. Let's hop in and find out. 16th of April, 1:26 p.m. Windibank's Pawnbrokery. All right. Here we are again at the scene of the crime. Now to thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please? What is it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. Is he gonna go all cutesy? Your ladyship! Wow! I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabash to sign that? I salute you. That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Isn't that drink her tea? Glug, 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 glug. Ah, lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes, I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be alright if we investigated the scene of the crime, then? Do as you please. You know where it happened. Through that door behind the counter. Alright. Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windibank and Gina. Alright. Right, well, I'll be getting back to business then. Will you be investigating in the storeroom as well, Inspector? If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taken forever, even with the lads working round the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case the Yard needs to investigate urgently. That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine. Of course not. Wouldn't dream of it.
Come then, let us not waste any time.
Alright, now one thing we wanted to investigate for sure was this calendar. We weren't able to before because we didn't have the papers. Ah, look here.
Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can still see the bullet is still lodged in the wall.
Presumably, Mr. Windibank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time.
Ah, well. Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that.
Sorry?
It's all there in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris?
Ah, did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps.
In jest?
Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often? He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that for now, Bruno. Let's examine this bullet. Alright. What's that around the bullet hole? Looks like blood to me. Is it blood? A suspicious red stain on the calendar. Yeah, this definitely feels set up.
Aha! I may be able to help with that.
What?
There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Bruno?
I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris.
I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold.
There you have it, see? When it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation.
So you need this!
Oh no, what is that scary looking thing?
Hurley and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch!
Uh-oh. What do we got here? Oh, I guess it turns blood green. Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed.
There, does it make sense now?
Yes, I think I'm starting to understand.
Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes, how wonderful. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great.
So, whose blood are we looking at then?
Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different color, so just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to in a flash.
It's more like 2 flashes, really, isn't it? I mean, yeah, technically.
1 flash or 2. This could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. So we must make note of it in the court record.
Alright, so the blood sample has been entered into the court record. A sample of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turns different colors.
Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio.
Alright.
As long as I have reagent left, sure.
Alright. Now, is there anything else? Wait, there still says there's something here to examine. Green blood. It just seems wrong somehow.
Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different.
Wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. Alright. So I think we've examined everything around here. I do want to examine that broken glass or whatever that was on the floor. What is over here?
These shelves are where the pawnbrokers put articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy.
Yes, it's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example?
Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know. Are you alright, Bruno?
Oh, it's just, well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole. But when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them, even that horse statue.
That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever.
Alright. I wonder if there's anything special about that. Can we look through this again? Sholmes was looking through that. This is the strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. It makes you think. When Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Okay, so we don't get to actually look at it. We've looked at all... Oh, what about the clock? Or no, that's a music box, yeah.
That's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Bruno?
Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan.
Oh, well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen?
Sure. It's very pretty.
What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound?
It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks.
Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Grexy to have a word.
Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. She's secretly the boss. Alright, that's everything over here. Now, what about here? Can we look at that? We still cannot. Alright. We've already looked at all this. Let's look over here. Maybe there's something on the counter. There's the article ledger here, Mr. Winterbank's notes, and picture of the cat. It looks as though someone has left a little photographic print behind. That's the same one we got from... Oh, look! On the back, there's some writing. That's the same one that we got from Gina, right? Is there? Ooh, show us, Susie, show us! Yeah, this is 15th February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited, 1 gentleman's overcoat. Loan amount paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th of April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat pawned for £1. Clearly, it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing, which belonged to McGilded. I would never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. It seems Mr. Winterbank just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have on hand. Yeah, it's the little cat picture. But this photograph of a cat, it looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact picture somewhere else recently. Yeah. Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same one Ginny gave us earlier. And there was stuff on the back of that one, too. Of course, I was forgetting that she gave us that print. Oh, what are you waiting for then, Mr. Naruhodo? Get it out. All right. Let the cogs turn. They're, like, identical, right? Yes, they are exactly the same. And they both had stuff written on the back, right? I've got it. These two photographs hide an amazing secret. Secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know? Yes, we need you to tell us all you know about this pair of photographs. Okay, so can you tell us? So, Iris, about these two photographic prints. The one we found here in Mr. Winterbank's counter, and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these two identical prints? I mean, are they identical? Makes me wonder. Like, the shadow's a little different here. I don't know. I'm trying to, like, spot the difference and see if I see anything. But they look very, very identical. The cat's eyes look a little different. Actually, that's not quite right. I think it's on the back she's talking about. Sorry? If you look carefully, the two prints aren't the same. Not exactly. They're not? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, they're slightly, very slightly different. Have another look at them now. Like, the cat's eyes are different. Right? Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? And there's more shadow here. I think so. It's very subtle, though. The cat's looking off this way in one. But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the two prints? Ah, well, it's because they're a set, you see. No, I don't. This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. Oh, the machine. Ah, stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently? Oh, yes. That's what Mr. Sholmes showed us yesterday. So, can we put them in there, maybe, and see what the secret is? You see, there it is, just over there. Ah, yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Well, actually,
It's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions.
What? Really?
Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place?
Shadows, lighting?
No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful. Then I'll be able to tell you.
She's over the moon, bless her. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on investigating the scene.
I, for one, simply have to know.
Alright, so let's find out.
Have you ever considered, Runo, how our eyes see depth in the world around us?
Well, I just open them and it works.
But the reason it works is because we have two eyes.
2 eyes? Shocking.
If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away what you see with your left eye and what you see with your right eye are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly, and in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. And that's how we can sense depth in everything we see.
My brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me.
Ah, I think I see. So the pair of photographs consists of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick.
So if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'd be able to see depth in these prints?
Yes, Runo, you're beginning to understand.
And the stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that.
Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all.
You can? Really? Do you have to like do the magic eye picture, I wonder? Like where you kind of have to relax your eyes? Let's see. So how do you view them?
Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go.
Susanna-san really loves this kind of thing.
You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that?
Oh man. Oh man. Cross my eyes? I think I can.
Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Let me try.
Alright, let's see if Susanna does it.
There, how's that? Wonderful! Now it's your turn, Runo. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time.
Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed.
Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try it looking at the prints.
Alright, are we gonna have to cross our eyes or is it going to do it for us?
Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes.
Okay, so it's gonna kind of do it for us, sort of?
You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Bruno.
I'm just gonna have to give it a try, I suppose. Alright, so what are we going to see?
Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this and then try crossing your eyes again. The prints should slowly merge together until they form a new single image in the center. Oh, yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day.
I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt.
It's your turn, Runo.
Oh, man.
Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the images overlap exactly in the middle.
Like this, is it? Let's see. Are we gonna have to actually do that? It does actually work. So you do have to kind of do the magic eye thing, like if you ever use the magic eye books. But yeah, it does work, and it does put it in 3D. That's super cool. Alright. That was really nifty.
There, you managed it. So now you know how stereoscopic images work.
Oh boy.
Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary.
Alright. Now what?
So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo?
They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly.
No, some people find it easier than others. But that's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we?
Yep.
If I remember correctly, you press the little knob here.
Oh, yeah.
And then set the pair of photographs on the stand at the back and
then is it going to work? It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now.
Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in Capital currently.
But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them.
But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes.
Well, I think so in any case. Stereoscopic pictures. I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. Alright, so the second white photograph has been entered into the court record. It's a photograph depicting a sweet little cat. I feel as though I have another print just like this one. Alright. So, is there anything else to say? Nope. Alright, so I guess we go back to examining, right? Can we look at anything up here? That ledger that's open on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn.
It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head, if you ask me.
But clearly Mr. Windibank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. A lot of good it did him. Alright, I think that's everything here. Time to go into the room. The room behind that door
is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said.
Alright. Yes, and that's where I saw the dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Oh boy. Oh boy. Mr. Windibank face down on the floor with Gina beside him.
As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. We must make a thorough investigation.
Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime. She's all ready.
Don't worry, if there are clues there, I'll find them.
Alright, 16th of April, Windibank storeroom. She's sad. Poor Iris, she's clammed up completely.
Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windibank's life was taken in this very room only last night.
Here's Gregson. Ah! Okay. Wait, Inspector? What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away for some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do ya? I don't know. Well, he can't abide her tears, maybe? I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old. That's so much better.
I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector.
Eh? Is he gonna talk to her? She's all sad. Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? Yeah, that's the way to cheer her up. Good job there. I don't think that went very well. You're not good with children. Why? Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet. Okay.
And we have investigating to do ourselves.
Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say.
Oh, Hurley.
And inquire into how Mr. Sholm's operation is going. Alright, so let's talk to him. The scene of the crime. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Sure, you've got eyes, haven't you? Use them. It is what it looks like. Nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand?
So, Gregsy, what do you make of the crime scene here? Oh, yes, your ladyship, to allow me to humbly explain.
Last night, shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. The one and only door to the storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. Okay.
The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officer's doing?
Quite right, ma'am. Quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in as humbly as possible.
Oh.
As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child.
Are you talking about Jenny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector.
Miss Lestrade, that hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. And I'm afraid to say she had the gun that was used in her hand.
No.
Presumably, it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. Okay. In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well. What? The key to this storeroom?
And you say the storeroom has been locked from the inside, Inspector?
Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend in something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid.
Except for you would have to be able to unlock it from the outside, right?
Because otherwise, how would he ever be able to lock the door and then get in, right? Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's all some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is. Alright, what about Sholmes' operation? How's that going?
Gregsy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he?
The thing is,
Don't mince your words, Inspector, please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is...
No. The operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well...
Out with it!
Yes, ma'am! They use something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body anesthetized? Is that even possible? It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep.
Goodness, in the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction.
The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, so I hear. And now that the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently.
Oh my!
No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in his system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes round again.
Hurley?
The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you. What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Alright, so now let's look around a bit, okay? Let's examine the scene. So first, let's check out this. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. Okay,
Oh, Mr. Windibank. He was a nice old man.
Well, he was shot once, through the heart. Most likely the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. Okay. I'm thinking he was shot from the front and the bullet lodged into that calendar, right? This must be his blood then. So it's time for Iris to do her thing.
Ah.
Do your thing, Iris.
I don't like to ask at such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps...
She's like, no problem. Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. Alright. Is it going to be green? It is not. It's blue. Okay, so now we know the color the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windibank's blood. So the stuff in the main room is not Mr. Windibank's blood.
And it doesn't match our analysis of the blood stain we found in the main shop. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway.
Alright, the blood samples portfolio has been updated. So we have 2 samples of blood analyzed now. Different people's blood turns them different colors. Alright, Iris?
Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely.
Alright, what about the gun? Let's examine the gun. This is a revolver, a real one.
And quite possibly a murder weapon used to take Mr. Windibank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Bruno look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh.
And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windibank with this yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, that was his gun, right? Yeah. I shall have to take my own life. It must be the same gun. In my head, I envision Mr. Windibank with like that, in cartoons you see him. It's like the old man. He's got like a kind of a nasally voice. I can't do it, but that's what I play in my head. When I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand.
Mr. Winterbank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he?
Okay.
Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired.
So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. Okay. What's in here? Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them.
I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look!
Pieces of different people's lives quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be, if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policeman shuffling around. Not much I can do about that, sunshine. Alright, what else we got? There's keys there. Alright, is that everything over here? Let's check this side. I want to check that chest last. I feel like it's going to be... That's where my eye draws to next. So I feel like that's going to be something important. Out of all the articles in this storeroom, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. Ah! What is it, Iris?
That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. Oh.
Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles? Surely that's not what all this... Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you.
We must check inside the box at once. Yes.
Let's see. What do we got? Huh? Is it there? Is it gone?
It was there. Iris's story was there.
Really? It was? Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris?
Yes.
I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he deposited here, but still.
It's a relief to actually see it.
Really? Because that's not a very well-hidden frown. Okay, Iris's manuscript's been entered into the court record. A long unpublished story that Mr. Sholmes deposited at the pawnbroker of the victim. Alright. Well, I want to look at that right now and see if there's anything in particular about it. Is there anything... Okay, so let's look at this. The Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Susato-san know the exact title of this unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me.
I'm so sorry.
Alright. Is there anything else that we can see? There's one page here. Anything out of the ordinary? I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Anything about the signature? Nope. Alright, so nothing we can see anyways. What was this? The blood samples portfolio? Alright. Alright. Let's give it a look. 16th of April. Local prison cell 13. Is she not here? Gina doesn't appear to be here. Where'd she go?
I believe she must be in questioning at the moment. Oh, but wait a minute.
What is it, Iris?
Well, if you examine the scene here carefully, there's another possibility, isn't there?
Is she hiding under the bed? Oh,
Jenny could have slipped the key from the jailer when he wasn't looking and escaped. Oh my.
Why would she do something like that? It would only make her situation worse.
Calm down, Runo. I was only joking, of course.
Oh. Ugh, you had me worried there. I thought it was a great deduction.
Yes, it must be your way with words, Iris. You're so wonderfully persuasive. Perhaps you don't fully understand the weight your words carry.
Oh, now we made her feel bad.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. I suppose a light-hearted great detective is a contradiction in terms.
Well, in the same situation, I'm sure Mr. Sholmes would have just thrown his head back and guffawed.
I'm not entirely sure that's helpful, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, anyway, it looks like we won't be able to talk to Gina for a while. We should try to make progress with our investigation in the meantime.
Yes, come along then, Runo. Come along, Susie.
Blood on the card. There was blood on the card.
Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here.
I have noticed.
The red smear, you mean?
Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Suzato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case...
Yes, we need Iris.
We should show this to her before we forget. All right. It looks like a bloody finger mark. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to... Now we know what we can do. Now we can go to the main shop where Iris is waiting, and let's present her with the card so she can spray it, right? All right, so let's present this.
Oh, that looks like blood.
I would say it's from a gloved finger, almost certainly a glove made of leather.
Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me.
Is it gonna be green? It's gonna be purple. Okay. Look at that.
Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point.
Indeed it would. Well, this particular stain of blood...
Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is?
It would be McGilded, right? I think I do. Well, let's see. Or it could be Gina's. Maybe? Could be Gina's. Yes, I have an idea of whose blood it is. Not from the color it turned, but with a little deduction.
That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, do you know as well?
You first, Runo. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright. I believe that this is the blood of a glove finger. So, would it be Magnus? That was who my original thing was, and I don't think Gina wears... Gina might have gloves. But this was in the pocket, right? Let's try Magnus.
Mr. McGilded?
Yes, after all, this redemption ticket belonged to him.
Oh, you don't think... You mean that during the incident on the omnibus?
Yes, I expect so. It's a very clear print and no small amount of blood. So it must have resulted from a fairly serious accident, such as he might have sustained on the omnibus. I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Wait, but if I remember rightly, no sign of injury was found on Mr. McGilded at all.
Oh, so maybe Gina's then?
We're trying to work out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away.
Yes, I suppose we can. I'll have to think this through some more. Who do we know that was bleeding at the time?
Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... Is it going to be thrice-fired Mason then? Because he was the only one bleeding, right? Thrice-fired Mason? You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course, I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. I mean, that would make sense if he had the blood on... McGilded had the blood on his glove. He was definitely thrice-fired, though. The victim of the omnibus case. Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windibanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night. Right, so his hand would have been in the blood, right? Now, I ask yous, what's good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. It certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body, from which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. So I had the right idea, just it wasn't Mr. McGilded's blood, it's actually thrice-fired Mason's blood. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Bruno. Very well, let's make a note of this. Alright, the details of the pawnbroker's ticket have been updated. So the blood on it is Mr. Mason's. And we've updated the blood samples portfolio. Nice. Alright, now what do we do? Maybe we present this to her, right? Let's see what happens when we present this. I'm curious. Oh, my manuscript. Mr. Sholmes said he deposited it at Windibanks and he had. But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? I worked so hard on it. Why would Hurley say I can't publish it? I'm afraid I have no idea. All you can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose. Oh, maybe. It's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I didn't give him good enough lines. Yes, maybe. I wish I could say that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. Does he know anything about this box? Maybe? We can ask? Inspector. Okay, so he knows nothing. What do we have here then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was to hand. Yes, this is the ticket for McGilded's overcoat. The one that little diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Really? Then you think you know better than me, do ya? No, I didn't mean to, Bruno's right, Gregsy. It isn't the same ticket. Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. I never doubted you, your ladyship. So what's all this about, then, if I might be so bold as to ask? And this is a second ticket. A second one? And it seems that Mr. McGilded, in fact, had another article in storage here at Windibanks. Okay, yeah, that's true. Is that right? They might be interested in it, too. I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, good, because he's ever so easy to talk to.
Okay, the second redemption ticket. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGillicuddy's overcoat. You mean to tell me? Yes, there was more than just the music box disc in it, it seems. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly.
Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGillicuddy deposited another article here with Mr. Windibank.
Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it?
Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGillicuddy. It could be an important clue.
Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Will we get to find it? Please stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose me marbles. I'll go barking. He's gonna stress eat his potatoes. This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector. That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There is one thing this brings to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it? That's true, so it's probably that box that cop was standing in front of that I thought looked suspicious.
Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. So the small box will no longer be in here then.
That's right, it's been forfeited.
Which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop where the forfeited items are offered for sale.
Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once. You're wasting your time.
Oh.
There are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds even. We can't possibly know which one might have been McGillicuddy's. That information's not written in the ledger. Ugh.
Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case.
Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Alright, so back we go. Dong. Very loud.
Ah! I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Windibank set such a wicked trap?
I doubt he set it out to scare anyone. Alright.
Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon.
Oh?
Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Bruno? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer.
Really? Did I say that?
Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting paperwork is fast approaching.
In that case, we'd better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. Alright, now we go to the prison. Finally. Alright, 16th of April, 5:41 p.m. Local prison, cell 13. Ah, Gina, good, you're back. Ah. Oh boy.
The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Jenny? Was it awful?
Oh, doesn't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windibank's. Oh, right. What's she gonna say?
Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy.
Come on. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying, that I did it.
That's not...
Gina, we came to ask you for your final decision. What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not?
I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you.
Right, I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. Alright, let's see. Let's tell her what we found out. Everyone's just so quiet. The awkward silence fills the air. Oh, all right then. Blimey, give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So, come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. Oh, you don't say.
We don't know it yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime.
And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being in there in the first place. I think I now know why you broke into Windibanks that night. Looks like I'm gonna have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason and thrust it in Gina's face, or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Okay, well, let's go ahead and present her with the manuscript. She was there for the manuscript. Or, yeah, I think she was here for this, not the box, right? We found this in Mr. Windibank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story. Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windibank showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like, with one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there? That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Why don't you tell us what happened, please? Alright, so let's find it out. Alright, yeah, this Baskerville story. It's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet, so I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right?
Oh yes, at least 5,000 pounds.
What? So you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you?
No, Ginny, how could you?
What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do is find out if the mental script, or whatever you call it, was really there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place.
For Iris's sake, isn't that right?
We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But
I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it.
Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, the lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that mental script ain't at Windibanks. You'd sooner see if you had a look.
If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean, that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him.
Oh boy, so she had to find out.
Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you.
Alright. I'll tell you why I did it.
Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. Alright, reason for breaking in. It weren't because of Iris, that's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all.
You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest, if he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windibanks.
It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me, anyway, last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about
Daddy?
You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah.
You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we?
Give it a rest, will ya? I ate all this jummy nonsense, dear. I ate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work, 'cause if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarper. Silence. Awkward silence. I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat. Oh, there's blood. Are some of the very suspicious red stains. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. Alright. So let's go back a sec. Let's present the blood samples portfolio, right? Those stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What?
Blood, Mr. Naruto?
You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So, could it be blood splattered from Mr. Windibank when he was shot last night?
Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else.
Take it easy, Iris.
Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot.
Alright, what color are we going to get? It's purple. Wait, what?
Oh. Oh my.
What the? That's... What? Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Of course. The black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now.
And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see. Who had the purple blood? Ah, yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago.
I knew it. What are you all on about? The victim? What do you mean? This is basically the proof that McGilda did it.
It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed.
Alright, would someone explain what's going on? Stop telling Alpha story. Let's see what she says. The truth of the omnibus case. We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilda's coat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony.
Now I ask yours, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. Uh-huh. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from McGilded trying to pull a victim to his feet.
No, if that's what had happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat.
The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run from the truth long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded. It does explain his evil little laugh.
Mr. Naruhodo.
That horrible case is solved at last, and I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen?
I don't know. Did you believe him, though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent?
I believed, or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon.
A weapon?
All right. Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson.
You mean Kazuma-sama?
It's coming full circle now. Listen, Ryonosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you unwaveringly. My. What's funny, Gina? Of course, sounds like this in this empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on, look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learnt your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've at it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one, get hurt by no one.
Gina, may I ask you something?
What?
I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial?
How many times do I have to say it? Rip 'em up and chuck 'em away.
Are you really sure that's what you want?
I bet that's what he wants on all now, Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me and that child 2 months ago. I let everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
A lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. I trust her. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial.
Eh? Are ye half-baked?
Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. She's shocked.
Seriously, Mr. Narrow Odo, didn't you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trip off me tongue, and I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it.
Gina, I do understand why you choose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you, there is more to this life than you yet realize.
What do you mean?
The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down.
Eh? It's true that I'm just a student of the law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. What do you expect me to say to that? Oh, is she crying?
Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now, after it's been pinned with your name so beautifully.
Do what you like. You Eastern Law are... I don't know what you are. I don't get you.
She's amused. Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out all right in the end, I think. Oh boy. Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice.
Mrs. Otto?
Somebody is there in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before.
What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Oh, okay. I suppose you were using one of these mystic Japanese arts, like this art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector.
Regsy!
Oh, dear me, I'm most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you.
How long have you been listening in on our conversation?
Good grief, listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave, even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived this very minute, not a moment earlier. That's all it is. Nothing untoward. Nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best, bye-bye and bye. That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for her ladyship.
Oh, but I wanted to have a chat.
I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the minute.
Oh, I see. That's a shame.
If I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with, sharpish Lord Strongheart, well.
Emergency?
Lord Strongheart? Nothing! Forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off!
Alright, Gregsy, if you have to, but let's chat soon.
Delighted. Charmed. Can't wait. If you please. My pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere. Oh boy.
Gregsy's so funny. He says such silly things. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court.
I must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Oh boy.
Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later.
All right. We head home. And so our investigation came to an end. Susato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Susato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. 16th of April, 11:13 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy.
Naruhodo-san, it's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted.
What about you, Susato-san? Today has been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Shom was shot before our eyes. Gina was arrested. All in the back of the news that her father has fallen ill and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon.
Thank you for your kind words.
It's silence.
I wonder why it is. Let so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm. And yet I seem unable to find the words to express any of them.
I know exactly what you mean.
Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make preparations for my departure tomorrow.
One final task? What's that? Going back to Japan?
It's just 2 months since we first arrived in London. But we've managed to establish this office. It was finally feeling as though we were settling in. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret.
I'm so sorry, Susato-san.
It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I've had no time to gather my thoughts.
I know we've only been here a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something.
And what would that be?
It seems to me there are many facets to people's personalities.
Facets?
And like a jewel, the light plays off them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. But we see only a small number of the total facets, and what is illuminated is only a part of the whole story. What lies in the shadows? What do those facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on for as long as we live.
That's so true.
Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much. But I keep hoping that one day it will all become clear. That all the facets will be illuminated and I'll finally understand how everything fits together.
Naruhodo-san?
I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark.
It's amazing to think it's been just 2 months. You've grown so much.
Sorry? Of what?
Oh no, it was nothing. Unimportant.
Right? Do you know what time you will leave London in the morning?
Yes, I picked up my ticket earlier. I shall be leaving here at 4 a.m.
I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station.
Absolutely not.
Sorry?
I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow.
Gina's trial.
Yes, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible, even though, like me, I'm sure you will find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try.
Alright, what's the one final task, Sasato?
You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this.
What is that? Some huge bundle of documents?
It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus.
The McGilded case.
It seems to me that this case of Mr. Windibank's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with that omnibus case in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you.
With everything else she's had to think about, Suzato-san still managed to do this, and all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting.
It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina.
Thank you so much, Suzato-san. I will do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Sorry? I didn't quite catch what you said there.
Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself.
Alright, the McGilded case notes have been entered into the court record. Alright, that's going to be helpful, I am sure.
Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Mr. Norohodo-san. I must finish packing up my things in my room.
Suzato-san, I
wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night.
Wait, there's something I need to say.
Hiya!
She's hearing none of it. What was that?
A secret technique of mine, the Susada shutdown.
Shutdown?
Please, I implore you. If we have to voice our goodbyes, I won't be able to hold back my tears.
Aww. Poor Suzato. Suzato-san. As we just lie on the floor. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about that nemesis of a case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted, and yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible. But I forced myself to close my eyes, and as a cacophony of scenes of our lives here in London played through my mind, eventually, my fatigue triumphed, and I fell into a deep sleep. Oh boy. And then we're dreaming. And we're off to the dream world. And to be continued. Wow. We're not going to continue. Alright, so that's where we're going to pause it for today. So, obviously we're going to be picking up at the hospital next time, so there's going to be undoubtedly some news with Sholmes. But what will it be? I don't know. And how will the trial go? I don't know. We'll just have to find out next time, so make sure you tune in. And if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. If you want to watch live, we're on Twitch at twitch.tv/LR27. I have my schedule posted in the about and in the description, and if you want to see which games we're playing each day, I post them on twitter.com/LR27. And I hope you'll join me in the next one. Until then, guys, bye.